Good morning, District 33. This is Joseph Skoda, your past District 33 director. Wow, that was so many years ago now. Seems like yesterday, but it was a few years ago, and I enjoyed my journey. And one of the most important things I love about my journey is the people I got to meet in our district and Toastmasters International in general. But I want to introduce you to one of our family members, someone I've known, I don't know, 7, 8, 9 years. I don't know, it's been a long time. It seems like a blur what we're doing. But please help me welcome to the virtual stage, Karaleen Mork. Hi, Karaleen.
Hey there, Joe. How you doing?
I'm sorry. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine.
All right. Good
I'm a guy of
morning.
costume or character or something, and we all have our thing. Well, anyways, where do you live right now? I know you moved recently. Where do you live?
Yeah, I actually live in District 101,
Okay.
but I still am a big participant in District 33. In fact, that's the only district I'm participating in with Toastmasters. I live in
Oh,
Morgan Hill in Silicon Valley,
I know
south of
Morgan
San
Hill real well.
Jose. Yeah, so in the Bay Area-ish, South Bay.
Sure.
And it's nice up here compared to Fresno, but I do have a lot of my friends in Fresno still, and all my clubs I'm in are in Fresno. Well, except for one of them, but
Sure.
yeah.
Well, how many clubs are you in right now?
Right now I'm in three clubs. I'm
Okay.
in my home club is TLC Toastmasters, and they're in Division G. And I'm also in Central Valley Toastmasters, which is in Division G. And then the newest club that I've become a member of is the Parliamentary Toastmasters Club, and they're in Division C.
Beautiful. A great club. I've visited all of them at one time or another. And there was a time I was involved in 10 clubs. Thankfully, I'm down to four now, but 10 clubs. And I belong to three different districts also. It's crazy what we do. So, anyways, how long have you been in Toastmasters and what has it done for your life? Or why? Why did you become a Toastmaster?
Yeah, so I first went to the very first Toastmaster meeting I went to was in October of 2016.
Okay.
And I went with a lady that I used to make cards with. We did paper crafts, and her husband was her husband is a stand-up comedian. And he told me about Toastmasters when I was making cards at their house. And he said it was great to help him get over his nervousness of being a stand-up comedian, which is something that I've always wanted to do. And I I'm not a shy person, but I felt, it's easy to go into a room and make friends with people and talk to folks, but when you're standing up in front of a bunch of people who are all just staring at you, it's a little bit more nerve-wracking. And so that's what I thought I would initially that's what brought me to Toastmasters. And I just fell in love with it, and I stayed, and I've been really involved ever since.
That,
And it's
that
not really like for stand-up comedy anymore, because it turns out I'm not that funny. But what I've gained from Toastmasters is so much more. I wish I had known about it sooner. Um, but it's been an awesome journey, and I still love it.
that's funny. Just a week ago today, I interviewed a stand-up comedian. And we were talking a little bit about our journey. And when I first retired from the Air Force, I decided I would yeah, I would try stand-up comedy. I thought it was funny. I got up there on the open mic night and I froze. I couldn't say anything. I don't think I even said my name. It was a horrible experience, and I wish I would have discovered this organization before that. So what do you do for work right now? You're working up in Morgan Hill, correct?
I do interior design. And then
Okay.
right before Christmas, my boss decided to close the office. So
Ooh.
I've been looking for a new job since, um, but yeah, so I do interior design. I could do things like administrative work, just really, I'm doing some caregiving part-time right now, just to kind of make ends meet. And I do a lot of promotions where I'll go into Safeway or other stores and hand out free samples of wine. So trying to promote a brand and sell things, or rum, just whatever they want me to promote, I'll do it.
What is that? No, that's exciting. We have to do what we have to do. So why are you still in Toastmasters? I've seen you compete in contests. I've seen you be in the background and coordinating, not just contests, but educationals. And I've seen you a lot of different conventions over the years. Why are you still part of the organization?
Well, what brought me to Toastmasters was the public speaking aspect, and what I found to be uh, something that I started getting more into was the leadership development.
Sure.
And I've done the area director, I was a Division G director, and I really enjoy that aspect of Toastmasters and trying to, I just really like learning and being a better person, and just really the relationships that you build in Toastmasters are some of the best parts about Toastmasters, really are the people. When I had all these health problems, I was bedridden, I had been in the hospital, and my Toastmasters friends were there for me. They brought me food, they really looked out for me, and they were there more than my family was. So I think that when you have an organization where you are surrounded by like-minded individuals who all have the same sort of goals, in essence, of self-improvement, then it's really a dynamic environment. And in fact, I even gained skills like time management, which is something that I had no idea I was gonna, wasn't expecting that out of Toastmasters, that's for sure. And so I really like to I'm always learning something new. And I try to push myself and challenge myself outside of my comfort zone. Like, I'm going to be competing in another contest on Sunday. And yeah, so what I like about the contest speeches are you can develop them a little bit more and more and more. Like, when you're normally giving a speech in Toastmasters, you're just giving a speech one time and then you move on to the next one. And so with the contest, you can just really develop the same speech and give it over and kind of make it into something different as it needs to be developed, and see what works best. So that's what
I
kind of
love that.
keeps me
I love
coming.
that. I'm competing in a contest too. So maybe we'll compete at the higher level together. That's exciting. Well, tell us a little bit about your experience in being a club member and being in leadership, because there is a difference. Tell us a little bit about your experience in both.
So I think what's cool about being a member is that you can just show up, and the meetings have a lot of value for members. When you're an officer, it's a little more involved, and so you get to develop certain skills of whatever officer position that you decide to take on. If you get into, you know, leadership, then it's just more than working on your speeches and your different aspects of the meeting roles, in that sense, where you can really start to work on, say if your job requires you to give presentations at work, well, then, or if you have to run a meeting to give that presentation, then, sure, you could just be the Toastmaster every so often in the meeting. But if you take on the president's role, then you can really run the meeting. And that's a skill that's transferable to your job. It's great. Not too many places are there where you can develop those kinds of skills for your job without having to go to school or pay money to do so, right? I mean, the fees of membership for Toastmasters are so small compared to going to college or taking a specialized course. And so it just seems like it's a small cost for all the benefits that you gain from it.
I agree with you totally. I've taken a lot of speech courses and communication courses, and Toastmaster hand down is the best bang for your buck. And when it's time for our dues renewal, I don't call it dues renewal. I say, hey, it's time to pay your tuition again. It's time to re-up on your tuition. And
Right.
it's like the whole year is cheaper than a half of a quarter of any college class anywhere in the world. And it's exciting, but we're paying our tuition and we're continuously growing and learning. And I appreciate you stepping up into different leadership roles because that's a challenge. A lot of us aren't used to that. And a lot of us aren't used to people clapping as we walk up on stage either. And that's kind of a big deal. Well, tell us a little bit about, well, obviously you sponsored some people and helped with start a few clubs. What is maybe some of your biggest challenges in the organization, how you overcome them?
Well, I found that's a great question. Thanks. I found that some of the challenges in Toastmasters is, if I'm super excited as about something, a certain project that I'm working on for an event, maybe that I'm putting together, um, maybe my excitement level is not at the same level as others. And, although they may be on board, they're not gung ho about, hey, let's do this, And so I found that it's a interesting dynamic when you're trying to get volunteers to do things. Everybody has a certain amount of time that they are willing to dedicate, and it's just a matter of trying to figure out ways to motivate individuals and to enlist volunteer help for these projects, because we can't do all of this scheduling and organization of some of these events by ourselves. It's just way too much. And even if you aren't working and you have all the time in the world, it's still much too much for one person. So we have to lean on each other. And it's a matter of, I found it challenging at times to figure out ways and just figuring out people's skill set and what they would be best suited to do to help get those things done.
I I love how you mentioned skill set because you and I are experienced Toastmasters, but we still have a different skill set. I'm better at one thing, you're better at another. And it's okay to learn and grow and merge, but we know where we're best at. And we often have to challenge ourselves, become just a little bit better doing something else. And I think that's what I like about our clubs is I may be an evaluator. I may be scheduled to be an evaluator. And the next thing they know, oh, we need someone to fill an educational role or a humorous role, or can you be the timer? And most of us over time were able to, oh, sure, where do you want me? Where do you need me? And we can just fit right in seamlessly, where a lot of organizations you really can't do that without the preparation. But most meetings are fairly the same. I mean, some are a little bit more elaborate in evaluations, and some meetings can be 2 or 3 hours long. I know I've been in those. I like the shorter ones, right to the point. But we're learning something new, and we all need to experience those longer meetings so we can get a little tidbits, some golden nuggets, so we can take back to our own clubs and make us just a little bit better. But you're right, we all have a different skill set and trying to get people rah rah like we are is sometimes difficult. And I find for someone to buy into my rah rah, I need to buy into theirs sometimes and support them. It's pretty good. So, how long do you expect to be a Toastmaster? 5 more years? 10 more years? What's your future look like?
Yeah, that's funny that you should ask, because I have a friend of mine that's not in Toastmasters, but he's always saying, "You're still doing that thing. Haven't you? I mean, haven't you learned everything, gotten it all down by now after this long?" And I said, it's not like that. It's definitely something that you can always continue to learn and grow from. And I think for myself, I'm just this close to getting my first DTM. So I'm working on that, and I imagine that I'll probably be in Toastmasters for life. I don't know why I wouldn't. It's just one of those organizations that the people continue to change and the relationships and the dynamics change. And, you know, I'm working on my third path now, but I there's more. And even if I did the same path again, I could probably get something different out of it. It's different for whatever you're going through in life at that time. You can take and spin your projects a little bit different and give speeches about different topics and research and learn different aspects of yourself and develop and continually grow. It's one of those things that it's not like I've ever learned everything I needed to know in school and then that's it. I'm ready. I'm doing it now, you know.
Good
It's
luck.
just
Good luck. I know I actually love that because as you know, every path, every level, I think it's 3, 4, and 5 anyways. There's a lot of electives, probably a dozen electives for every level, and we haven't done them all. You go back and start a podcast or um animation is one of them, believe it or not, and doing different kind of projects. And I know HPL was the big thing we call high performance leadership back in the day, and now it's just a level 5 project. Are you doing to achieve the epitome of that path, and you go on to doing something else? But there's always something to learn. There's always somewhere to grow. And what I like about when I take on different projects, I look for different people to put on my team I haven't worked with before or that often, because we're all going to learn and grow. We know certain people how they're going to act or what their skill sets are. But why not help someone up and coming learn something new or go outside their comfort zone and become just a little bit better, just a little better. So I appreciate that. I love if you need help or if I can be on one of your teams, definitely let me know
yeah.
because
How many DTMs
I
do you
love to
have
do that.
now?
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It just it's I don't remember. I don't remember. And it's a challenge because a lot of people think DTM is out of their reach or it's easy or it's hard. Well, it is hard. It's supposed to be hard. It's almost, they told me a DTM is equivalent to a master's degree in communication leadership because you're not only giving a lot of speeches, but you're doing projects. You're helping mentor or coach clubs back into success. You're helping starting new clubs and so many other things involved. It could take several years. I know a lot of people take 10 years to get their first DTM or even longer. I was fortunate. I was surrounded by people that pushed me up and supported me. And the first 5 times I've been president of a club, all presidents distinguished. And that first time I had no idea what we were doing, but I had so many elders, the elders come around me and surround me and say, okay, this is what we have to do and let's help you get there. And wow, now I'm an elder and mentoring others. It's kind of a big deal. That's this thing with that's important, but the growth, because regardless of where you are in the club, you're bringing in new members. If you're not bringing in new members, you'll never become distinguished.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to have attrition, and that's okay. So, what are some of your secrets? And that's a good point to bringing in new members into your clubs.
Well, I think it's a little different with Zoom than it is in person because I know when you have in-person meetings and you have a special event, food always helps bring in new members. um, and even if they just come as guests, they can easily be persuaded into joining this. There's nothing better about feeling like a part of something. And so once you have some guests in the door, just making them feel special and being a part of something is a really good way for them to want to get on board. So with Zoom, that personal dynamic isn't there, and you just have to really get to know the guests and see what it is that's driving them to come to that meeting in the first place. And then you can kind of work with them and to develop those. It's really just, I think, about knowing who who and why and what they're there for. And I think then once they're there, then it's a little easy to get them, just make them feel special and try to get them to come back again. And then they start to know the people in the club, and they see the club culture, and they feel a little bit more comfortable, and maybe do a table topics. And usually if somebody has something in mind that they are trying to do, like my boss told me to come to a meeting and so I'm going to join, then they're going to join. You don't
It
really,
happens. It
yeah,
happens.
and it's just about being at the having a meeting at the right time for them to fit into their schedule. But if they know that they want to work on they're trying to overcome their challenges, and their fears, then those are the ones that you have to spend a little bit more time getting to know and understanding, so that you can make sure that you have a positive environment for them to grow in.
That's a real good point. Well, before I let you go, I want to, and I think everyone here wants to know your experience giving your first table topics answer. You remember back then when you're called up in front of everyone to answer a question that you were not prepared for? Just a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I think I probably said like at least 16 times in less than a minute, if not. I was notorious for saying and so on and so forth, or whatnot. Those were my favorite filler words, but fillers galore. I was, and it was the longest minute of my life. I was holding on to the lectern like I was driving a car, and it was pretty terrifying, but I got through it. I don't remember what I said. As soon as I sat down, I was like, that was over. And I have no idea what I said, but I got through it. And funny, as I've gone through my Toastmaster journey,
Sure.
I realized that I'm actually a better impromptu speaker
Hmm.
than than if I sit and plan and write a speech out and practice and practice and practice and practice it. I feel like sometimes I do a little better just off the cuff.
That's your skill set. I think that's your skill set. But before I let you go, it's going to be fun. I'm hoping that we're both on the contest journey together. That'd be a lot of fun. Competition is one of the things that kept me in the game. And once I learn everything, okay, now what? And we don't learn everything, but we have to buy new things. I think contests are a lot of fun. All right, so well, thank you, Karaleen. I appreciate you spending time letting our District 33 know who you are and why and how you became a member of District 33 and Toastmasters International. And we appreciate talking to you. It's been a lot of fun. And everyone, please subscribe to District 33 YouTube channel, Facebook. Definitely leave comments, like and share. And hey, share this with Caroline and come see what she's doing in her clubs. And root her on, and me too, in her contest. We can really use your help. All right, with that being said, Joseph Stephen Skoda III and Karaleen Mork over and out. Hooah! District 33 rocks. Boom.